Because we are a little over time, I'm just going to read only a couple of questions and want to inform to the audience that the presentations will be available on the social networks of our chair. Some questions are addressed to a specific speaker, but some others are general questions. So in this second case, I will give the floor to whoever wants to answer the questions. First question is a general question, and it's the following. Currently, the mobility of people has changed dramatically due to more people working at home. Under this scenario, will the approach to QoS, QoE monitoring will change? Anybody wants to answer?
Werner, if you have an input, Werner, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm looking for the question. Or maybe you can repeat the question again. Sorry.
Yeah, well,
yes.
Okay, I can address that.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Miguel, Spanish or English? Miguel, should I respond in English or Spanish?
In English, please.
Okay, so working from home with the new 5G technologies, 5G shouldn't be perceived as only mobile RF technology. 5G also has access to IMS services. So if your device if you're working from your device, not from your PC, for example, if you have a Wi-Fi spot on your home, your device would most probably would use those resources to connect to the IMS from the service operator. So there are more things that should be considered besides of the RF network experience. There's also your own Wi-Fi and how are you accessing the IMS services from your operator. Now, if you are not using Wi-Fi, 5G has and also LTE have different service modes like fixed wireless line and also mobile lines or mobility. In that case, it's very common, just like Axtel, for example, that they use microwave for the CPEs or WiMAX or any other of the MA technology. With 5G, if the modem is indoor modem, picking up the signal from the exterior node, there's also measurements for indoor quality, but there are models that are applied for to predict that coverage and give or at least give assurance from cell edge service coverage with certain committed rate and certain committed accessibility. But there is always predictive models that will help you design the coverage for indoor building with external RF resources.
Thank you, Luis. Well, we have some other question. It is for Berna. Berna, in the case of encrypted streams, how machine learning is being used to estimate QoS at low-level traffic?
So there have been a few publications in the recent years. I will type it in the chat so you can read some of them. So basically, you are using machine learning to gather information from TCP connections and from the traffic patterns in the connection. And in the laboratory, you're also gathering information about what is happening at the client, for example, for YouTube. So you measure the encrypted traffic and you measure the video performance. And then you can use actually deep learning to find out what are the features in the TCP traffic that are relevant for the video quality that is played at the clients. And if you have a lot of data, you can at least predict if the video is good or bad. But it's very hard to predict, for example, a mean opinion score. So it's very hard from the encrypted traffic to predict exactly what is happening at the client. You can only tell if it's good or if it's bad. And I will add some paper to the chat.
Okay, thank you, Werner. We have other questions for you. This is the results presented were obtained for a fixed or a mobile ISP. It is expected to get different results for each type of ISP.
So the results presented are for a fixed ISP. For the type of measurement that we did, we do not expect there to be a big difference between different ISPs. You will see some small differences between ISPs in terms of the performance for YouTube, because different ISPs may have different peering or different connections to YouTube or to Netflix. So for example, when you're measuring in the evening at 8 p.m., where everybody is watching YouTube and Netflix, then some ISPs may have better quality than others because of their peering connection and the bandwidth that they have between them and YouTube, for example. But in our measurements, no, there was no difference to be expected.
Okay, I have another general question. How does computer security affect QoE monitoring? Anybody wants to answer it? How does computer security affect QoE monitoring?
I have a very simple example. It makes it very hard. For example, if you want to measure quality via crowdsourcing from an iPhone, you basically cannot do very much. So especially if you want to look at quality of experience, the iPhone is very restricted. It does not allow applications to access information from other applications. And so if you want to really measure QoE, it will basically be impossible. So you have to use some models and some algorithms to estimate. But computer security means that you do not allow other people to measure exactly what you're doing. And this is actually good, but it makes QoE monitoring very hard. Yeah. Maybe Luis, you want to add to this? Yeah.
The thing with iPhone is that, or this example with iPhone and what can you measure and what can you not. The applications that are able to acquire certain KPIs from iPhone needs to be approved by Apple. So those applications will be only available at the Apple Store, for example. And the limitation of KPIs is given by the firmware of the device as well. In order for example, for Nemo to measure KPIs with iPhone, we need that the operator receives a special firmware from Apple themselves, so we can connect the iPhone to our systems and measure radio, measure data throughputs, but it's only with special firmware approved by Apple. Security, of course, is always depending on what are you testing. If it's a mobile device, many times either those devices needs to be rooted, or you need to have something that we call diagnostic port available. With some devices off the shelf, devices that you just buy on the store, many times you can enable those tracing ports and use them as a measurement device. But definitely rooted devices are better because you have more access, in-depth access to the operative system. If you are testing through a modem or domestic modem, a customer premises equipment CPE, for example, you also need to have some access to an interface where you can collect those KPIs. And security, of course, will probably block some of those KPIs in terms of accessing the network or blocking any protocol. There are, for example, network providers that block the FTP protocol port and you can use port 21. You have to change your port and change the port of the server to access the FTP. So yes, security plays a dramatic role sometimes on acquiring quality metrics.
Miguel.
Thank you, Luis, for your answer. And well, we have come to the end of our, and I would like to thank our two speakers very much for their brilliant participations. There is no doubt that the issue of quality of service and quality of experience in telecommunication networks is and will be increasingly important in order to access the capabilities offered by new technologies, including, of course, 5G networks as one of the main players. Both speakers have presented very interesting topics that allow us to have a clear picture of the challenges we have to face in the following years. Thank you very much to both speakers. Luis Parado, thank you for your kind participation. And I'm sure we will keep in contact to give some other lectures to our students as you have done before. Thank you very much, Luis.
Gracias.
Dr. Berna, it has been an honor to have your participation in our seminar. In addition, I would like to mention that as a researcher colleagues, we would really appreciate to establish an academic relationship with your research group. I'm sure that some students and academics of our institute will be very interested in a collaboration with you. I kindly request we keep in contact to explore this possibility. For now, we thank sincerely for your excellent participation in this seminar. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the chance to speak, and all the best.
Bien, pues con esto damos por concluido nuestro seminario y los invitamos a que participen en la segunda parte de este evento, que tendrá lugar el próximo martes, también de 9 a 11 horas. Agradecemos mucho su participación, una participación muy nutrida, que pone de manifiesto el interés que reconoce la comunidad por este tipo de temas. Entonces, pues los invitamos cordialmente a que nos acompañen próximo martes, 9 a 11 horas, donde revisaremos desde una perspectiva un poco más técnica los avances que se tienen en el tema de monitoreo de calidad de servicio y calidad de experiencia. Muchas gracias a todos por su participación. Pasen un excelente día. Hasta pronto.